Who's the best goal scorer in football right now? You might be thinking it's Mbappe, Benzema, Lewandowski or Haaland, but what if I told you that none of them is actually the best at scoring goals? What if I told you that there is a hidden gem who outperforms them all when it comes to converting chances into goals? It's a player who you probably have never heard of. Let me introduce you to a concept called XG. XG stands for expected goals. Every shot has an XG value between 0 and 1. It shows how easy it is for the player to score in that situation. The easier it is to score, the higher is the XG value, and the harder it is to score, the lower is it. For example, suppose a player takes a shot from inside the box with no defenders around him and a clear view of the goal. This shot would have a high XG value, meaning it's easy for the player to score. An average player is very likely to score in this situation. On the other hand, suppose a player takes a shot from outside the box with several defenders blocking his way and a narrow angle to aim at. This shot would have a low XG value, meaning it's much harder for the player to score. An average player would very rarely score in this situation. XG can be calculated for every shot taken by every player in every match. So, how does XG show a player's ability to score goals? The answer is, it doesn't. Goal per XG does. Goals per XG equals goals divided by XG. For example, the sum of all XG values of every shot a player took in one season is 10, and that player scored 15 goals in that season. He has a goals per XG rate of 1.5. This means he scores 50% more goals than expected. If another player has an XG of 10 and scores 5 goals, he has a goals per XG rate of 0.5. This means he scores 50% less goals than expected. In this example, the first player is better at converting chances into goals because his goals per XG rate is much higher. A high goals per XG rate means that a player is very efficient and clinical at scoring goals. They can score from difficult situations or with few chances. A low goals per XG rate means that a player is wasteful and inaccurate at scoring goals. They miss easy opportunities or need many chances to score. Goals per XG shows how good a player is at goal scoring, much better than just goals. Because Haaland, for example, not only scores the most goals because he is so good at shooting, but also because Manchester City scores so many more goals than other clubs. There are other players who are statistically better at goal scoring because they have a higher goals per XG ratio than Haaland. However, it's impossible for these players to score as many goals as Haaland, because they play for weaker teams than Manchester City and therefore don't get as many goal chances as Haaland. Please keep in mind, goals per XG only measures how good a player is at shooting, heading and so on. A good striker has to do a lot more than that, like creating chances by running into free space. A player with the highest goals per XG rate is not the best striker, but rather the best goal scorer from a statistical perspective. So who is currently the best football striker in terms of goals per XG? The answer might surprise you. It's not Mbappe with a goals per XG rate of about 1.36. It's also not Benzema, Lewandowski or Haaland. On third place we have Julian Brandt from Borussia Dortmund. On second place we have Federico Valverde from Real Madrid. And the best goal scorer in terms of goals per XG is Geraldo Becker with 7 goals and just 2.6 XG and a goals per XG rate of 2.69.